Hey everyone, welcome back to Tyranny. We were just about to do something stupid.
You didn't see
which I
nothing.
think is just fighting people. I guess we could just pay them, but I'm kind of like really into fighting them now. So around. So I could just click attack, which will allow me to attack them. Redamon will fight me, and I will pay the toll. For the rings and stops short of taking them and lets out a giant sigh. No, you'd better see Radamon. I'll catch the bad side of the beastman's claw if I let the fight run through without an audience. I will speak to him, and then I went to speak with him, and he doesn't even want to let me in. So even if I want to spend money, I just can't. Question is, can I talk to Welby and can she, like... Yeah, she's not into helping me out here. So there's not much I could do. I mean, I'm not seeing much I could do other than just punching through. Could go somewhere else. Come back later. Or you must gather your party before venturing forth. And doing this, going on the edges doesn't actually work. I have to drag, which is weird. Is one of the many trading routes that snake through Haven's wilderness to link travelers to Lethian's crossing. Its most notable feature is seasonally accessible river, crossing its profound flooding during the high summer months. So we wanted to say, the Mountain Spire is where we are. Bastard City is the place we have to go to, and I wanted to go to Sunset Spire and click Lethian's crossing, but location unreachable, must travel through Ironhall Trail to reach Lethian's crossing, which I am not allowed to do. And I am in Ironhall Trail right now. So we can fight them or go to the Bastard City. And then maybe in the future we'll be able to do something. Or we could just fight them. So I'm going to make a big save. Which I probably already have. I'm going to make it anyways. Going to make it again anyways. And then I'm going to find a really good angle.
Sorry, I can't.
Like, could you do fulmination on everybody? Yeah, you can. Okay. Can you do unravel minds on everybody? No. Kind of need you to be... I want them to be here so that the guys at the top won't actually come in and attack me, and I think that's possible to do. But I'm not entirely sure. So this will be good right there.
I'd have it no other way.
How up do I have to be in order to... Yeah, that's like really close up. So I think I want to be on this location, and I want to be like right there. Verse could be here, and then Ebb could
Whatever
be right
you need.
there. And Ebb, one per rest, lift it into the sky, and then do some crazy stuff. Light of the Grave. Ebb surrounding the party in a glow of grave light energy while affected the party's attacks will transfer health from enemies. Not in combat? Oh, you can only do that through combat. Healing allies and harming enemies. Cool. So the combo abilities, we only have 2 of those. We have those too. Phantom Bolt, or you could do Fulmination. So you could just do Fulmination and murder everyone. So let's do a quick save here. We're going to do Surge of Glory. You are going to Spectral Blur yourself. You're going to Spectral Blur yourself. And you don't actually have any positives.
Count on it.
Do I have Spectral Blur here? I didn't actually give Ebb Spectral Blur, so she just doesn't have it. Which I don't mind as much. If you're looking for trouble, here it is. I knew you couldn't be trusted, Cad. The force of Christ will always show their true face if pushed. Redamon retreats, calling his men in as he runs. Guards, we have a snake in our midst. 2 arms. Snake. He ran away? What a loser. Okay, we're gonna everybody murder this guy. I thought we could do Unravel Mind as both of them, but he ran away, so we're just gonna Rhyme Spike this, and you are just going to Phantom Bolt it.
I got it.
Okay, so you can go on him. You could come up right there and disengage. What is she doing? Whoa, 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 Ebb, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, they all come in. I'm gonna do this again, but I want to check before. She's super dead. Look at her. 3 people just murder the crap out of her. Wounded. What to do when somebody's wounded? Yeah, so all of these don't actually attack me. They'll only attack me later. Okay, that's interesting. And Ebb also gets destroyed. Wow, they're actually murdering the crap out of me. I don't know if I can even take them at this point. They seem extremely powerful. What happens if I die? That's interesting. Let's die.
Pull yourself together! I will aid you.
Okay.
I'll do it for the north.
Do it for the north. He's dazed.
I require needle and thread.
I require needle and thread. Alright. Let's not do this then. Let's not make grand mistakes. Because they are just like totally kicking my ass. Interesting, but I guess we just can't go in this direction right now. We'll be able to do that in the future. But not right now. Because... nope. And I just can't click it. I just don't have the ability to click it. Okay, I'll speak to Redmond. He doesn't want anything to do with me other than being a bitch. We will speak again soon. Alright, I guess I'm not going to Lethian's Crossing. That's definitely true for now. Not much I could do until I can offer them a better way. Or, you know, level up a bunch before we murder them. We could probably try and take them. I could probably just stand there and try and do that a bunch of times, but it is attacking a major, like, the Brotherhood. I don't know if they're major. Attacking them? Maybe it's best to just click Bastard City. Go to Tunon's Court. Let's just do that then. Let's see what happens, man. Cacophony. Burning library entrance. It's cacophony. This area is currently inaccessible. The howling massive Narat's horde. Interesting. Okay, Tunon's Court. Straight in into the city and into the hall, I guess. The voice of Kairos. Travel to Tunon's Court. Report to Tunon. Control illusions. Apparently we're better at controlling illusions now for some reason. Yeah, and clicking out, we can't actually go anywhere here. Everything seems like there's holes and everything. I guess it's just Tunon's Court, or I don't know. Okay, Lady Lucretius. Kairos is standard and imposing sight for both conquered and unconquered alike. Whoa, there's a lot of things. Aurora, Sevus. Tunon, ooh, he's shiny. And he's flying, and he's super cool and stuff. The ornament atop of the throne resembles Tunon's mask. It always seems to meet your gaze, regardless of where you are standing. It's fancy. Okay, let's... what's in here? Any petitioners that spell Tunon would meet their fate in the pits below the court. Just, like, throws them out. I guess we'll talk to the only thing with a name before we go in. She's straight up with Tunon? No, the Bastard City. Alright. The well-dressed older woman stands apart from the milling crowds of nobles. She stares off into the distance, oblivious to your approach until you're right in front of her. Oh, greetings, she offered you a reserved smile. Anda Lucretius, formerly of Thistleholm. You have the look of someone who belongs here. A fate-binder, no doubt, she nods. Do you need something from me? What are all the nobles doing in Tunon's Court? She smirks and shakes her head, trying to look brave, I warrant, but if you crane an ear to any of your conversations, you'll hear a different tale. 3 years since Tunon set up shop in the Bastard City, we're still getting used to our new masters and figuring out what we can and can't ask of them. She nods to the assembled nobles. These are smart, ring-plenty folk. The way they approach Tunon, you'd think they were raised under a tyrant's lash. Some have come to settle a grievance, others to pledge fealty. I've been standing around long enough to know that the adjudicator doesn't care for empty gestures. How has the Bastard City fared since the conquest? The armies claimed the city in a quieter, more organized manner than I might have expected. I can credit them that much, to be sure. Kairos' forces made short work of our local mages. I never approved of the School of Wild Wrath, but at least they were ours to control. I'm not sure that the blood chanters I see on patrol are a better alternative. We've suffered our share of hardships, but it seems that Kairos wants us alive. That's a more generous outcome than some of us were led to believe. By the way, I bit my tongue like 2 days ago. Bit my tongue like... actually bled a little bit, and now that I'm talking a lot, I feel it, which is bad, but I think I'm okay. Sorry if I'm a little What brings a noble like yourself to Tunon's Court? A frown crackles her pleasant demeanor. Like the rest of the frightened inbreds here, I came to see Tunon and ask him to right a wrong. My manor was destroyed during the conquest. I told the adjudicator my woes, but we didn't exactly see eye to eye. Tell me of yourself. I'm the daughter of a noble house. We were wealthy enough to live in the city, but our means beyond that were limited. My mother dealt in fish, textiles, and bronze. By the time I inherited, the business was taking care of itself. She sighs. Of course, all of that has changed. Thistleholm is no more, and my name has none of its former weight. Even if we were still in business, Kyrus's laws would stifle our trading rights. Perhaps it's better this way. Among other things, Kyrus's laws of quota and sharing meticulously regulate tradable goods. Permits are issued to deserving merchants on an annual basis, but their allowances circulate by a design known only to Kyrus and Tunon. A former wool peddler may be restricted to selling only copper, and the subsequent year trade fresh vegetables. That makes no fucking sense, but okay. What is Thistleholm? A great sigh deflates her. It was my family's ancestral hole. The oldest stones dated back to the years when the bastard city was naught but a dozen roofs and wagons clustering for warmth. Compared to the houses of the great lords, it was nothing special. Age had softened the wood, and its queer placement in the warehouse district set it apart from the finer grounds where lords and ladies strolled for amusement. It was a mess, but our mess all the same. I would invite you over for tea, something stronger even, but it would only disappoint. You'll find not there but a gaping hole. What happened? Collateral damage happened. When the adjudicator cast his judgment on the bastard city, he destroyed the districts of the corrupt merchant kings, their manors, their counting houses, and yes, their warehouses. Aged, dignified Thistleholm collapsed as a massive sinkhole opened under her foundation. The bastard city's laws may not have been perfect by Kyrus's standards, but my family followed them with respect and never took a copper ring more than we deserved. I can't help but feel that my estate was not the criminal Tunon had in mind during his sentencing. So what are you gonna do next? That's the question, isn't it? I appealed to the adjudicator, thinking he would see reason. After considering my case for all of 8 seconds, he awarded me a belt of rings and a plot of land on the outskirts of the city. Tunon told me to build anew and start farming. Farming! Can you believe that? She shakes her head. It's not even that I'm opposed to labor, but we're in war. I can't have the Scarlet Chorus breathing down my neck, raiding my crops, and Kyrus knows what else. And then I can have Tunon like me. Tunon's word is Kyrus's law, whether you think it's fair or not. Gain average favor. Or minor favor, Kyrus's law are made to serve the masses, not the individual. Or stop whining and take your rings, justice is done. Minor wrath, he won't like that. Or the Scarlet Chorus are dogs, I suggest you use those rings to higher protection, gain average wrath. I'm gonna go with Tunon me likey. Don't I know it, she huffs, meaning no disrespect to you or your office, I never question the power of Tunon's word. I come from a long line of smart, ring-savvy merchants, but even I can't reconcile Tunon's justice with Kyrus's law. There's something wrong about it. Maybe Tunon knows something I don't, or maybe she trails off shaking her head in doubt. What do you mean? People come here for justice. They usually get a version of it, but it's Tunon's version, not theirs. Half of the time, they don't even get what they wanted out of a ruling in their favor. She shakes her head. The deed to a farm, for instance. Not to put my own ignorance on display, but if more people knew how Kyrus's laws worked, they might not come here seeking a ruling at all, even a fair one. Tunon is a servant of law, but he's the overlord's vessel, as much as any of us. Vassal, not vessel. Vassal, which is a different word altogether, sort of. Sometimes it seems like he uses his position to twist everything in the Empire's favor. We're just pieces on a board, and he can move us wherever the law justifies that we stand. That doesn't sound, well, legal. Kyrus defines law. That isn't for either of us to question, minor favor. Tunon isn't one to change his mind. Unfair as it might seem, the ruling stands. Average favor. Or subterfuge. Ooh, subterfuge. Fascinating. Now, how much is my silence worth to you, ungrateful one? I can only endeavor to bring true justice to tears. You should know better than to speak ill of the adjudicators in my presence. Well, the subterfuge will be mean, and I don't really super need subterfuge. I'll go with the gain average favor, because that's important. I had no thought to dispute the ruling, but I appreciate the kindness of your tone all the same. It's an uncommon thing to find in the bastard city. Oh, does she like me? No. Farewell, Fatebinder. Be well. That's all she says? I wonder if there was a different way of dealing with this. Other than just gaining a bunch of his favor, which is great and all, but is just gaining a bunch of Tunon's favor. He likes me more, which is great. Reacted favorably to your actions. Tunon's court. Yeah. I wonder if I should have done some other stuff and that could have been more interesting. But I could quick load and go and try again, but going with let's just go with our decisions so that we wouldn't be here forever, and we already are here forever, and we go with everything, every question a million times. Sometimes I check it back again, but I think, you know what, it's fine. Let's just go with it. Hey everybody, how you doing?
You call yourselves officers of Kairos' army, but your conduct falls short of my expectations. The court finds your accounts of Vendrian's well lacking, rife with misdirection and fallacy, fouled with baseless accusation.
The shadows beneath Tunon's cloak darken and flare around him. Murmurs of unease erupt in the court. Tunon, he likes me. I could listen, or I could say, what up? This time I'm just gonna, it's Tunon, I'm just gonna let him talk. Albatronus, which is, from the disfavored. Obviously, we've got 3 disfavored people, 3 people from the Scarlet Chorus, some of them we know, and then we've got 3 Fatebinders and Tunon himself. Your Honor, I have relayed the events as I experienced them. You can well imagine why my version conflicts with his. She makes a dismissive gesture to the Scarlet Chorus representative. On my honor, and on that of the great general, I would sooner snap my sword than perjure myself before you, Archon. Blood mulch. Blood mulch? And yeah, they hate me. Not that much, actually. Interesting, not that much. Only Raft 1. Oh, so you implied that falsehood come easier to my lips than yours. You're a fool if you believe the Archon of Justice won't see through your lies because the disfavored think themselves better than an honest gang.
Silence. The contradictions in your statements will be examined, and falsities threshed from truths. If we find you have perjured yourselves, Blood and Mark will see to your fate.
The Archon turns and you feel his gaze upon you. Blood and Mark. Kairos' knife in the shadows. Alright, that guy. Yeah.
Fatebinder, we will start with the matter of the Archons. Graven Ash and the Voices of Nerat have declared war upon each other. In addition to violating Kairos' peace, they have thrown the conquest of the Tears into disarray. By all accounts, these hostilities began shortly after your arrival. Tell us what transpired.
I could lie, but that would be really stupid. So yeah, the Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege and descended into accusations of treachery. It seems a mutual spat. Different minds since the start of the war. I'm gonna go with the first one. The disfavored were more deserving of the honor. Our tactics and training outmatched the Vendrian Guard at every turn. What balderdash! The disfavored couldn't tip over a straw hut if they had a week to strategize. Our hauling mob was better equipped to overwhelm the Vendrian Guard. Our recruits were ready to throw themselves at the enemy if only Ash and his legion would agree to the plan.
The Fatebinder presents testimony. I warn you both against speaking out of turn. Something more than a mere disagreement unraveled this campaign. But I will return to that in time.
The Vendrian Guard did say a few times talked about the Voices of Nerat. Like, the voices sends thanks to the Voices of Nerat. So makes a lot of sense to me that bad shit happened there.
Let us speak of Ascension Hall. The disfavored sing your praises across the realm, though the Scarlet Chorus appealed for charges of treason. Perhaps you can offer a more enlightened account.
I claimed the Citadel was a small unit of disfavored. Average favor, or lie, which is really stupid. I took the Citadel with my own cunning, employing a small group of disfavored as a distraction, which is just not true. I'm gonna be truthful.
An efficient solution. The type I would expect from a capable agent. Tell me though, with the edict looming overhead and death the price of failure, why not employ the numerical advantage of the Scarlet Chorus?
The siege called for tactics and planning, not raw numbers. Or the Voices of Nerat provoked Ash at every turn. I suspected treachery. The Voices of Nerat is way cooler than Ash, just to be clear. But he is a dick. I'm gonna go with the first one. For a long while, the adjudicator hovers in silence, shadows trailing from below his robes.
I will consider this testimony at length. The court thanks you for it. Is there anything you wish to add at this time?
I told you all I knew, apparently.
Your testimony is accepted by the court. The statements of our guests raise questions in my mind. There is much about this campaign that has caused me to wonder.
Ooh.
A shipment of iron weapons was short on arrival. Where coveted iron is concerned, I don't believe it to be a clerical error. One of my agents recovered this seal in Echo Call. It belongs to a merchant collective. Lethian's Crossing is teeming with their kind. If you would root out treachery, I would advise starting there.
It's Lethian. Have I been saying Lethian? Lethian's Crossing. Because I've been saying Lethian. I don't know why. I've been saying Lethian for like the last... all the time. Lethian instead of Lethian. Why did I do that? Nobody said anything. Thank you guys. Thank you. Lethian's Crossing instead of Lethian's Crossing. Lethian sounds better to me. I don't know why. Okay, anyway. Lethian's Crossing. Damn, I've been saying it wrong for a long time.
Petitioners, leave us. I would have a private audience with the Fatebinder. Ascend and join me. You will find the way open.
Ascend and join me. Yeah, wait, he just said a shipment of iron was short on arrival where coveted iron. One of my agents recovered the seal in Echo Call, which we were there. It belonged to a merchant collective. Teeming with their kind would not, if you would root out treasury. Okay. And he disappears. Speak with Tunon privately. Can I talk to any of these people? Faber, you're no stranger to Tunon's court, but I prefer to spend a little time here as possible. In spite of these closed walls, I feel strangely exposed. Fair warning, when you backed Ash, you were as good as signing your death warrant, but we shouldn't discuss such matters in a court of law. You'll make our time in the tears an interesting one, won't you? He smiles for an uncomfortably long time. Of course you will. Damn, that was blood mulch directly. Mocking Blaze. I'd immolate you right where you stand if it weren't Tunon's breathing down our necks. He ignores you with a stern and distant expression. That's Bitter Quip, which is a dick. Let's go talk to our friends, and then these guys, and then Tunon. Tunon's last. Didn't think I'd make it out of that pass alive. You've done well for the Legion, Fatebinder. And then Sevis. Anything beats a prolonged siege, eh, Fatebinder? Enjoy the war while you can. And Albitronus. Fatebinder, the lieutenant gives you a curt nod. I don't think we've met her before. I'm ill at ease in this polished hall, but I admit that it's a reprieve from the battlefield and training grounds. If Ash needs me to stay here and represent his interests throughout the occupation, then I'll be up to the task. It can't be worse... Ooh, I got an achievement unlock, Charismatic, because we gained major favor with them, which means we are at 5. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at 5. It can't be worse than our days in Lethian's Crossing. Joking aside, you were generous to grant his favorite control over the city. Even the Iron Legion needs a break from the front every once in a while. Favor of the Fatebinder. Hail Ash and Kairos. Anything beats a prolonged siege. Oh, we got the 5th thing. Right. There, you do get something at 5 eventually. Sever Ash's bond? Sever the bond between Graven Ash and any disfavoring the target area, preventing them from receiving the benefits of Ash's aegis. Oh, sweet. If we ever fight them, which we're not really going to do. Linked reputation, Graven Ash himself. Favor of the Fatebinder. Allied, not self, target. Shielded, have a 45-second cooldown. Shielded for 80 damage for 30 seconds. Grant a damage absorption shield to the target. Huh. Cool, I guess. This sounds pretty cool. Hail Ash and Kairos. That's pretty cool. Let's talk to some Fatebinders, man. Nunoval, Kelio, and Rogalus. Probably have nothing to say. You have gained favor with Tunon, but just talking to him. And yeah, they're all part of Tunon. Oh, KOKOStern, you've returned, unscathed and more acclaimed than ever, as seems to be your way, the Fatebinder of War. Oh, so Fatebinder of Thing is a thing. So what am I, the Fatebinder of Edicts? Claps your good-naturedly, and with excessive strength on the back. Come, you must regale me with all your journey was held. I could use a moment of respite between friends. He regards you with a warm, boisterous smile. Speak as you wish. I'd pay a boar's weight in rings to know your thoughts. He rakes a hand through his thick red beard and offers you a grin. Come, let us speak freely. Oh, wow, he He wasn't kidding. How are you singled out to become a Fatebinder? Let me stretch out my neck, which makes no difference, but whatever. I cannot speak for other Fatebinders, but I joined the court when I was yet still a boy and impetus beyond reason. I have been imprisoned with a death sentence for the crime of desecrating corpses. He laughs hard and hearty. It was nothing so exciting as you're no doubt imagining. I was merely burning corpses and awaited burial. Before the local authority could see me to the gallows, the adjudicator claimed me a great talent waiting to be realized, needing only to be steered. Why burn the bodies? Corpses piling in the street spread plague faster than the filthiest of rests. I was but 10 and a weak fighter. I did what I could for my homeland. Why was it a crime? There was a time when even the Northmen were of superstitious stock, a time before Kairos brought reason to the realms. The people of my city believed that without proper rites, I was cheating our fallen warriors from returning to the land. It's a good thing Tunon spared you. As I have said, the adjudicator saw within me something of rare value, as is true for us all. You as well were chosen for our great court, for which I am grateful. As a Fatebinder of war, I rely heavily on your talents. Talk about something else. Tunon's masks. They can be rather unsettling, can't they? Even to one such as me, but I can assure you the innocent need not fear their objective, emotionless gaze. What of the adjudicator's mask specifically would you like to know? About the silent face. The silent face is the face that Tunon shows to us now, and for that we are fortunate beyond belief. The silent face is a patient face, a face for listening, as Tunon presides over all matters throughout the court, taking great pains to ensure all sides of an issue are heard. The face of resolve. Tunon's last known dawning of the face of resolve was the moment he judged and called ruin to half the districts in the bastard city. Since then he has ruled our northern tier justly, calmly, and with efficient diplomacy. The face that is no more. Tunon is said to have worn a third mask in eons past. I have heard rumor that the face displeased Kairos and thus was destroyed, as happens to all persons and objects that displease our overlord. Have you ever seen Tunon's change his mask? In the way that you or I would change our raiment? No, not as such. And yet I have seen the masks shift. They switch without the adjudicator or anyone so much as laying a hand on them. It's not something you can watch unfold. After a time, you really realize it has already happened. Something else? Okay. Could you remind me of the history and origin of the Fatebinders? Could you expose? The seasoned warrior rubs a finger against the line of stubble along his cheek. We are a relatively young order, though we have spanned these past 2 centuries. While the voices of Narad and Graven Ash need armies to execute their will, Tunon wields but a modest court of vassals. We exist as the extension of his law. There is no place in all of Terratus beyond our judgment. Kairos' armies. Ah, yes. With friends like those, our work is often self-explanatory. We ask him about the Scarlet Chorus with his favorite. Scarlet Chorus. Soldiers hail from every corner of every realm. As the chorus marches, it conscripts indiscriminately from those it has conquered to replenish its ranks. There's no continuity of command in the chorus. Narad allows and encourages even the strong to challenge their leaders. But the chorus has numbers, and brute force is almost always a valuable solution, much as Regulus insists otherwise, which is one of the other Fatebinders. Besides, the Scarlet Chorus draws strength from the multituded swallows. Its blood chanters have taken knowledge from various tiers, mystics, and many of the chorus's best soldiers have grown here in the south. The disfavored are the iron tip of Kairos' great phalanx, armed with the best weapons, the most comprehensive training, and led by a brilliant Graven Ash. The disfavored have no equals in open battle. The Legion has a saying, Graven Ash protects, and it's no empty boast. The Archon of War is able to lend his will and strength to his soldiers and give them endurance beyond human limits. I have great respect for the disfavored, but I know where I stand with them. They are a very close-knit band, all of them from northern families, many of them related to each other. Nunneval sighs, his smile wistful. But considering our role in the great hierarchy, I can't fault General Ash for being selective. Oh, I said farewell instead of let's keep talking about other stuff. We speak again, let's speak genuinely and at length with each other. Now, what matter would you like to discuss? Rubs his fingers along the edge of his jaw. I've claimed the spire of Vendrin's well. So, the court's whispers are true. The Fatebinder rubs his fingers along the underside of his chin, pondering his thoughts with great weight. After a moment, he offers you a wistful sort of smile. Someday, I would like to witness for myself that tower that has risen above the realms like a blade thrust into the sky. I would hear of your past victories in the war of the recent events. Have you not yet tired of my tales? I do admire, I never tire of telling them. He laughs hearty and deep. Very well then, let me champion the feats of my conquest. Let the glory of Kairos rain fall on many ears that would hear it. You may be interested to know that as of late I've entreated a forge-bound smith to craft me an iron sword, one he claims will not break in battle. However, and rather unfortunately, there appears to be an extended period of delay for the delivery of goods promised, even for a faint binder. Okay then. That was New Novel. Let's talk to Kellio. I see you've returned for the fold. Your exploits in the Vendrian's Well are the matter of some discussion. The Fatebinder of Balance regards you with a discerning eye, and for a moment you feel as if she is trying to peer into the very depths of your mind. What can I do for you? Kellio touches a gentle hand to your shoulder. Wow, everybody's so chummy in the court. Has anything happened while I was away? New Novel has dispatched to a stalwart to break the stalemate between the locals and the disfavored. He proclaimed Kairos' edict of storms, shattering the country with winds unending. You seem to know much of my actions. Have you been spying on me? Don't act so surprised. It's my duty to ensure that those who operate under the Adjudicator's name adhere to the spirit of his law. It's not, if not the very letter. And those who don't will be dealt with swiftly and efficiently, at the point of Bladen Mark's blade. Fatebinder slips a slim dagger from the fold of her purple garb, flipping the weapon almost idly in the air. Of course, that is assuming I don't dispatch them first. I take my duty seriously, and I am very, very good at it. How have you occupied your time in the Bastard City? Tunon sends me on assignment here and there. I settle disputes between the locals when the adjudicator is otherwise occupied. She smirks, everything from trade disagreements to pushing coarse quarters out of basements, real rewarding work. She waves it off. The glory of war is not an honor reserved for the likes of us. We're the fish swimming in Tunon's wake, picking up scraps along the way. We'd rather large and imposing compared to the bottom feeders of the tiers, but fish all the same. I'd like to know more about Tunon. Tunon is our overlord's fair and exacting adjudicator. He speaks with the voice of Kairos' law, and his word is judgment. All of this and more you can learn by asking him yourself. Go on, or does he intimidate you still? She chuckles softly. I jest, of course. Some concerns about the war. You're free to share them in my confidence. She leans in closer. They do really all seem chummy and like my friends and stuff. We cannot crush the opposition with such weak efforts. We are too lenient. Bloodshed and brutality reign supreme. Peace cannot follow such cruelty. Our armies squabble at each other's throats. Divided, we cannot win. On second thought, let me ask something else. Let's go with our armies are squandered. I'm less concerned about the armies than the Archons themselves. There can be no order when mountains collide. Why would you see... who would you see as champion? The disfavored. Our elite troops will bring us victory. Or the Scar Corps. Neither. They're both at fault and equally inept. Back to my the disfavored. I'm going with the disfavored. There is wisdom beyond your reasoning. Wars are won through cunning, strategy, and strength. The disfavored are outmatched only in number on the battlefield. Consider their opposition. Ash and his soldiers more than make up the difference. I have some concerns about the war. Can I click one of the other things? Yes, I can. We cannot crush the opposition with such weak efforts. I don't disagree with you, but bear in mind that these southern barbarians are being welcomed into the Empire. Kairos places no value in a mountain of tiersmen corpses. At least, not that I could fathom. More questions about the war. On second thought, let me ask something else. Or bloodshed and brutality. Such is the price of conquest. We will bring order to a land ruled by greed and corruption. When we've shown them the true way of Kairos, the masses will weep their gratitude and beg for our favor. She nods to the assembled nobles in the entry hall. It has already begun. Okay. Cool. Lastly, Rogulus. Fatebinder, you return. Rogulus looks you up and down with inscrutable expression. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask. I am feeling generous. Okay, so none of them are dicks. They all seem pretty nice. Tell me about some of the past Archons. Much that was known has been lost regarding the first Archon of Frost, but his talents were improved upon by 3 following Archons, sisters born together and never seen apart. It is said Rana, Nirabel, and Slea were so cold at birth that they were thought stillborn. Where did you study when you were younger? Such specific random questions. Random questions that are specific would be more accurate to say. I've been a ward of the court for as long as I've been aware. As a child, I demonstrated wholly perfect recall, and I observed all that Tunon and my tutors had to offer. I remember hating all the lecturers and wishing I could learn at my peace. Funny how I envied the sages of the tiers, how they could spend their whole lives reading and never exhaust the library. Of course, now the Vellum Citadel is nothing more than a burning waste. What do you think about the other Fatebinders? You need to be more specific than that. I'm afraid there is, on last count, slightly more than a handful of us. War. Nunovel's keen, brash, and a hearty braggart with a fondness for bloodshed. He can be utterly unbearable at times. His justice is fair, even if he skews towards rather exacting and uncompromising punishment at times. Balance. Callio is the finest among us. Her discernment is beyond reproach, and she is perhaps Tunon's favorite. She has a mind for suspicion and observation that makes others uneasy. We who operate within the confines of the law have nothing to fear, of course. And what's your opinion of me? You follow an orderly path, regimented and organized, perhaps too orderly for our station, but that is neither here nor there if you execute your job with wisdom. Be sure you don't stray to the path of chaos. Down the way lies rebellion. You'll need to be more specific. Yeah, let's talk about something else. Can tell me about the old walls and the bane. With which should I start? Tell me about the old walls. We know little enough about the ancient structures, save that they predate all historical record. The forbidden ruins crisscross the Tiers and North alike centuries before we raised our cities. The only one old enough to guess is likely Kairos. Tell me about the Bane. The Bane are found in the old walls, but much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke, claw, and fang. If you find yourself unfortunate enough to fight one, remember that spells are effective against them, but grab the attention of others lurking near. Okay, I'd like to know more about the Tiers. The political entities of the Tiers are essentially split between the Bastard Tier and Younger Realms, and the free cities, of which would you like to know? Bastard Tier. The Bastard Tier is the most northern of the Tiers and was the first to bow to Kairos' reign, though the knee they bent fell unwillingly. Kairos had his eye on the Bastard Tier for many years before he marched on their capital city, which is the Bastard City. This is the hub of trade and commerce. Claim the markets and the people will follow. Younger Realms. Younger Realms sprawl the middle and southernmost tiers and can be cataloged as follows: Apex, Azure, Haven, and Stalwart. Azure was renowned for its exceptional fertile land, which fed the whole of the tiers. That was before Kairos' Edict of Stone blighted the land. Stalwart is also worth mention, for it compromises the whole of the southernmost tier and proves the toughest and most defensible of the realms. It is often said that the other realms will not fall while Stalwart yet stands. The local army wages bitter war against the disfavored, though the Edict of Storms has cut off the best of their defenses. It is only a matter of time before Stalwart falls. Free cities. There are 3 free cities remaining: Last Harbor, Spiral's Maw, and Barris and Chains. Barris and Chains? Okay. The first and strongest of the free cities was the Setting Sun, which Kairos crushed in 429 with the Edict of Tumult. After that, the remaining free cities were quick to surrender. The Edict of Tumult, we have not heard of that before. Previous questions. Talk about sages, last thing. I will not speak of the sages. They are no better than charlatans and cons who's wholly selfish in their ill pursuit to hoard all knowledge from others. Interesting what would happen if I had Lantry with me. They are self-blinded by their own deception and clever manipulation. They alone cause their own undoing and are solely blamed for the burning library. One of the most grievous of wrongs in the known histories that can never be forgiven. Cool. So that was a bunch of stuff. And now I can go up and talk to Tunon. We're 38 minutes in. We've got some time. Tunon's just hanging out over there. Okay then. Hey man, how you doing?
This civil war, this feud, is an insult to Kairos' peace. It should not have taken the better part of a year to silence the last vestiges of the Oathbreakers.
Regards you in a thoughtful silence. I agree, Your Honor. Say nothing is gain average wrath. Maybe I want some of his wrath? No. I'm just gonna... I wonder if I want some wrath. Because wrath is usually good. No, I'm just gonna go.
Our allies squabble while our enemies regroup. It falls upon the court to measure the extent of the damage and to execute the agents of disorder. I suspect that treachery, negligence, disunity, and greed have infected one or both of our esteemed allies. Until you are instructed otherwise, this matter is the court's primary focus.
Okay.
Graven Ash and the voices of Nerat must be examined in close detail. You are charged with observing the Archons and presenting your case that one of them has wrought chaos and disorder upon the tiers.
Okay. He'll be pissed off if I say they're both blameless. Could they both be guilty?
It's possible, but the momentum of the conquest up to this point suggests otherwise. The failure at Vendrian's Well implies a coordinated will behind the chaos. As always, you will be held accountable for what you do in the court's name, but you are free to conduct your investigation in the manner of your choosing. You must expect lies, misdirection, and manipulation. Suffer not such obstructions of justice. The disfavored seem the logical first step in your inquiry. The Legion holds you in some esteem, and Graven Ash has shown deference to the court in times past. No doubt the disfavored will be rife with accusations and evidence against the voices of Nerat. Graven Ash is a noble man, but never underestimate his capacity for deception. A wise general succeeds by knowing when to be unreadable to the enemy. You should, of course, speak with the Scarlet Chorus and gather their testimony, but it stands to reason that most in the chorus would sooner brag about a pauldron fashioned from your skull than entertain your questions. Do not regret killing the rabble that impede your investigation. They will be easily replaced.
Yeah, I don't see myself being able to talk to the Scarlet Chorus. They'll just attack me. So, like, I'll speak with the Archon of War. If Graven Ash were guilty, I'd imagine all his soldiers would lie for him. Interrogation seems an expedient move. The Archon of War is Graven Ash. All of his soldiers would lie for him.
I concur. Graven Ash has a reputation for honor and nobility, but nobody is above reproach. If he is guilty of treachery in some fashion, his loyal soldiers will not be the ones to betray him. But if anyone is conducting a symphony of lies, common sense would point to the voices of Nerat.
Yeah.
Your fellow Fatebinders have been busy acting as my eyes and ears. I have a few leads for you to follow. You should, of course, speak with your brothers and sisters of the court if you need further counsel.
I did, but...
The disfavored have made use of the Sage's network of dovecotes and messenger birds as they come under capture. I've heard multiple claims of strategic communications gone missing. The Sages are broken, their citadel in flames, but they were not slaughtered to the last. Some of their numbers still congregate around the smoking husk of their burning library. If they have been reading disfavored communications, learn what they learned, then execute them. The Oathbreakers were reported to be using iron armaments, more than they might acquire from looting what few disfavored they killed. Any iron in the tiers not rusted through was made by forge-bound hands in Lethian's crossing. Between craftsman and quartermaster, someone let iron fall into enemy hands. Investigate this matter and bring the thieves to justice. There is a final matter to discuss. A sensitive topic.
Ooh, though it's impossible to gauge from his expression, Tunon seems more wary than usual. Also from his voice. What concerns you, my dear? My love, your honor.
In spite of the many shortcomings at Vendrian's Well, you managed to make a name for yourself. You proclaimed an Edict of Kairos, resolved its demanding conditions, and ascended the mountain spire. Any one of these feats would be worthy of recognition by the highest authority. You managed to accomplish 3.
Tunon hovers in observance, awaiting a response. Doing too good for ya? I'm just a privileged position to accomplish incredible deeds. It's just another day in the life of a Fatebinder. I kind of want to click that. I'm kind of scared because he'll be mad, but it's kind of like it's okay to make him a little mad, isn't it? Isn't it? Only doing my job. I'm in a privileged position. Let's go in a privileged position.
It pleases me that you grasp your role, as long as you temper it with a sense of duty. Whether by design or by accident, you have captured the attention of Kairos' army and the local tiersmen alike. This is no small opportunity, and the court charges you with exploiting your new standing to its fullest potential.
Okay.
You have a title in our hierarchy. However, it's a little-known secret that one's standing in the world is determined by their infamy, their deeds, and how they come to be known. Mind this notion as you bring justice to this lawless frontier. There may come a time when your deeds speak for you louder than any title. Whatever you did to capture the attention of the masses at Vendrian's Well, I would encourage you to do so again.
I look forward to chaining chaos to my will. Honestly, I'll be known as a champion. I'll be known as a champion of justice. Great deeds will define me. I'll go with the champion of justice. That sounds baller.
Good. It falls to us to set a new standard for these southern barbarians.
Pose.
You are dismissed. Should the court have need of your presence, you will receive word. Go forth and do my bidding, and bring glory and honor to the tiers in Kairos' name.
Raps his gavel against the floor. The singular note resounds through the hall. Yeah, that was damn. And I like the fact that what they did. Wow, everybody got a bunch of experience. Control vigor, parry, dodge, control lightning, all kinds of, a lot of stuff. But yeah, they didn't make him disappear over time. They just like, wait. Thank you. They just fucking Okay, you understood what I'm saying. He just disappeared. Failure to snap fingers. Oh, he just teleported over here. That's cool. So that was fun. Let's see what's up. Trial of the Archons. All encounters will be listed here. During the conquest, the favorite soldiers killed sages who were recruited to the Scarlet Course. Evidence against the forces of Nerat. The voice of Nerat unleashed the Archon Syrian, who sowed chaos and even enthralled his favorite soldier. During the conquest, the Scarlet Course sought to conscript new recruits from the Forgebound, who are under Tunon's protection. Okay. Into the Maelstrom. The Servant Tunon has regrouped his forces in the mountain fortress of the Iron Hearth. Travel there to discuss the Archon's next move. And then Steering Visions is, yeah, go find a way to Lethian's Crossing Spire. You have gained access to Haven. The region's spire is attached to old walls. Blah, blah. Okay, cool. Can we chat with him? Or is we... Yeah, we can. You return. It's gratifying to see that the war has not caused you to forget your roots. What is it you wish to know? Okay, we can just talk to him. I think we'll do this and we'll be done. Tell me about Kairos. Tunon favor 2. Kairos is our overlord. She ushers us from the brink of chaos. She? Huh. Kairos is a she? Ushers us from the brink of chaos. Wouldn't it be... Wasn't it he up to this point? Maybe not. She ushers us from the brink of chaos with a stern hand and gestures to the way of peace. We are only too eager to follow in her perfect example. How old... Maybe I'm just... Yeah, I don't know. Kairos sounds like a dude's name. Minor Wrath. How old is Kairos? By our reckoning, her age upon Terratus is magnificent. Her true span defies measurement by our limited construct of time. It would be a waste to spend our few pitiable years attempting to solve the riddle of existence. Think of Kairos not as subject to beginning or ending. Kairos is and Kairos will ever be. What is your relationship? She is my master, and I her dutiful pupil. In this respect, you and I are no different. I have the honor of Kairos' confidence. She trusts me to enact her law upon the boundless territory of her rule. I am only too grateful to serve. Do you think Kairos' laws are fair? That's totally average wrath. I couldn't help notice that you refer to Kairos as a woman. I'm going to go with this because it's interesting. Beware of the trajectory of thought. Save for her perfection, there is little about Kairos to which we could ascribe recognizable attributes. As a power as distant and unknowable as the Overlord should transcend our petty dualities. Male, female, it makes no difference. Kairos is mother to us all. Okay. Interesting. And I could do that again to gain additional wrath? No, because I've already gained that wrath. So it is impossible to get more. Gain average. Average is usually 50, so it'll be up to like 1. I'm okay with actually clicking this just to see what it says. That is an irrelevant question, and we are actually at 75%, so we are now at 1. Kairos is law. It is the responsibility of fairness to conform to Kairos' definition of it, and anyone who believes otherwise is an agent of anarchy. Contemplate this as you deliver Kairos' peace to the frontier. If you fail to understand the importance and immutability of Kairos' law, then your work is but a perversion of justice. Okay. Bled Mark. He is my headsman and an assassin without equal. His official designation as Kairos' hierarchy is the Archon of Shadows, though I wonder that he ever considered himself aught but a slayer of the unjust. How did he earn his title? His work away from the court takes Bled Mark to the dark places of the world, the Tiers and Northern Empire alike. Over time, Shadows became his domination. They cloak him, protect him, and even fight for him if the need arises. It is said that Bled Mark can travel to any place where shadows are cast. Only he would know this for certain. Does he serve you alone? Your question is flawed. We are all servants of Kairos. The Archons are also agents of their own interests, those chosen, few empowered to bring order to the world in accordance with Kairos' peace. At present, Bled Mark is my vassal, and I his patron. The relationship is not so different from Gaven Ash and Karen, the fallen Archon, or the voices of Norat and his songbird Siren. Such partnerings and apprenticeships are common. They provide mutual benefit to the Archons involved, as well as a measure of oversight. Back to my other questions. I'm curious about you, Archon. Curiosity is not a trait that I encourage in my servants. Too often have I witnessed such activity leading down a path of lawlessness. However, if you feel that a better understanding of me will inform you of your work, then I will allow it. What would you know? It's interesting that I have a bunch of stuff to gain his wrath, but nothing to gain his favor other than just like, me do justice? Law? Yes? Okay. Or just agree with him. Tell me about your rise to become adjudicator. Curb your ambition, student. My path to this dais is not one that could be replicated under any circumstances. However, if your curiosity is determined, I will tell you my story. Average wrath or favor. I wish to understand law and your execution of it. And its lore and its favor, so I'm totally clicking that button. An admirable pursuit. You know much of Kairos' law and the maintenance, lore experience part, and the maintenance of order already. My history may tell you something of how it can be used to win wars. I came into the world centuries ago, before the dream of a unified Northern Empire was fully realized. My home country lay far from the borders of Kairos' realm, and our conquest was a matter of distant speculation. Decades before rumors of Kairos' approach grew in panicked volume, I familiarized myself with the intricacies of our law. It took me no time at all to realize the benefits of our inevitable subjugation. I took it upon myself to rise in my country's governance as an arbiter of law and drafter of covenants, building some notoriety for my execution of fair justice. As my influence and the trust of my people evolved, my decision transcended to define future precedent. Go on. What my countrymen could not have surmised was that I had woven into our customs the very backbone of Kairos' law. I set the stage for the conquest of our floundering nation to join the Overlord's empire. By the time the Overlord's armies presented themselves and offered terms of surrender, we had adopted Kairos' peace in all but name. Our absorption into the Northern Empire was a matter of legal formality, negligible changes to our already beloved document of law. The people credited me as an architect of peace, and for a time called me Tunon the Fair. As my importance grew in their estimate, Kairos could not help but learn of the part I played in her bloodless victory. Kairos' law has a breadth of intricacies that is unapproachable to the masses. I was chosen to interpret and represent the Overlord's will across the Northern Empire and beyond, this time as adjudicator. It is my pride, my duty, my life. What does it mean to be an Archon? I am a figure of power and significance, and under Kairos' mandate, I am unable to exercise my authority for the benefit of all. Had I not earned the Overlord's approval, I would not stand tall before you. Did you come into power yourself, or did Kairos foster your talents? An astute question. Doubtless I exhibited some spark of potential on my own, insignificant, though enough to accomplish deeds of note. Only under Kairos' tutelage have I grown to these heights. Could anyone become an Archon? Absolutely not. Only a precious few grow into this authority. Were it otherwise, Tertius would descend into Pandemonium. Of those few who rise into power, fewer still have the self-control to make lawful use of their talents, and of those who can, fewer still are deemed worthy of Kairos' approval. Is every Archon subservient to Kairos? All are subservient before Kairos, but I intuit your meaning. The Overlord takes great pains to recognize potential. Before an Archon comes into their power, they will have faced the harshest scrutiny by an agent of recruitment, if not Bledenmark himself. Those who are found worthy of incredible deeds but refuse to join their strength in the need of the Empires are doomed to die. Those who wish to make a name for themselves who are invited into the fold to serve and rule the needs of the Empire. That is the price of power in Kairos' hierarchy. Let's go back to my questions. What is the deal with your mask? What's the deal with your mask, yo? Another gain average wrath would send me into tier 2. But it's interesting. So we are 74% to tier 2. This should be obvious to you by now, students, since the answer is relevant to your duties. I will tolerate your ignorance and explain. He face palms! He's fucking face palming! The face is an uncontrollable warren of muscle spasm and reactionary contortions, sickening in its display of every petty bias. It cannot be trusted to audience or judge a dispute without navigating a gauntlet of subjectivity for all to witness. Enough crazy talk. Go on. In my early days, before the Northern Empire spared my lands, I fashioned the mask of listening out of stern, uncaring wood. This expression of enduring patience hearkened the testimony of my petitioners, taking in all evidence before weighing matters in their due course. I actually like this. It's a nice idea. I agree with him that our face does have a lot of expression to it, which is a very positive thing, but in being as logical and as impassive and as fair as possible, it makes sense to not look at those, sort of, in a way. Later in my career, Kairos herself gifted me the Mask of Resolve. You will find it almost identical to the Mask of Listening, save for the brow furrowed in contemplation and weighed down by the burden of judgment. This is the face that dispenses law, often the most exacting and unforgiving sort. I wore it when I brought Kairos' devastating judgment to the Bastard City, and doubtless I will wear it again. Does the Mask of Resolve grant you the power of judgment? An astute question. Kairos would certainly be within her authority to grant me the function to do extraordinary deeds. But no, the mask is a symbol. Justice itself grants me power. An objective ruling is its own consent to enact incredible wonders. Such is my right as the Archon of Law. When I recognize jurisprudent need, there is nothing I cannot do. I wear it whenever... Okay, what do you look like under the masks? Tunon hovers in silence, staring down at you. Your Honor? Minor wrath. Back away slowly. Whoa, okay. Back away slowly. He's running away. This is good. This is pretty good. I kind of want the minor wrath here. I want it. The shadows wreathing Tunon's feet whip about like waves in a storm, ebbing and flowing in any direction. An unmistakable air of danger fills the room. I want to keep going. I want to keep going so much, but this is so stupid. Okay, back away slowly. I'm sorry. I'm going to save, and then I saved. I'm going to go. I'm super going to go. Go on. Under the mask. Your Honor? Your Honor? The question is irrelevant. Justice, I'm totally going to go with this. Justice is ageless, sexless, devoid of opinion other than the right or wrong. A face is extraneous to the function of law. Move on from the line of questioning if it will do you no good. Yes, but what do you look like? Do you even remember? I wore the mask of my office for centuries. Like my gavel, it is a symbol, a testament to my authority. There's no need to remove it. That doesn't answer my question. This is major. You have gained wrath with Tunon. Okay, holy crap. He is angry at me at this point. Like, damn. And yet it must suffice. You go too far. You have earned the court's displeasure, and I will hear no more of you. Dismissed. What do you want? Oh God, he's angry at me. I want to apologize for my line of questions earlier, Honor. You surprised me with your imputed presumption. Certainly you challenged the court's opinion of you, and yet I will not hold you in permanent contempt. In spite of the disrespect you showed this court, the right to cross-examine a testimony is yours by law, of which we are both subjects. For your own sake, I hope you show prudence in the future. Thank you. He's so angry. Okay, I have no more questions. I'm not gonna do this though, because this is just really dumb. And it's like, I get it, and it's like not okay. It's like, I half expected, I hoped that he snaps, but I knew that he wouldn't, you know? I kind of like, I wanted to push the buttons. Oh, wait, what? Sickos were, well, it was madness, Your Honor. No one could be expected to act in a rational way. No, perhaps I expect too much of my servant. Is that it? I just, by loading, and now there's something else here. No, Your Honor, but if you hear my testimony, I think you'd understand. I see a better alternative has presented itself. Fatebinder, will you audience this case in my stead? I'm curious what manner of conclusions you draw. I just wanted to finish my conversation with him, and now we're doing a thing? I just loaded the game, and suddenly there's a thing here. I'm ready to hear the case. Excellent, this one will begin. Okay, let's do this. I guess we're 1 hour in, and it's really late, and I'm tired as hell, but let's do this. I'm afraid it's a sensitive matter. I was away from the city, seeing to a military camp when I discovered 2 Scarlet Chorus soldiers. She clears her throat and holds her posture, defiling a woman. A local from the Tiers? Yes, and I understand that it's a common enough occurrence in that army, but I couldn't stand it. I was brought up to know better. She looks up at Tunon. I was taught to be better. What happened next? I fought the recruits. They fought back, but in the end my skills won out. After they were both dead, I let the poor woman go. Their gang boss witnessed everything, though he didn't intervene until it was all done. It was tussed up and brought back to court in a wagon, where you find me now. And what fine company you made on the journey over. Chuckle Bones! Hehehe, Scarlet Chorus. The gang boss spreads his lips open in a toothy grin. The defendant is charged with the murder of subjects who were owed the protection of Kyrus's law. Fatebinder, assume you wish to cross-examine. Murder of subjects who were owed the protection of Kyrus's law. Why isn't the victim of assault a matter of concern? She was a denizen of the Tiers. She has no right under Kyrus's law. This is a simple murder trial, and the defendant stands before you. I would caution against burdening yourself with extraneous variables. Okay. The Gangos didn't intervene at all? If my recruits couldn't defend themselves against the glorified clerk, then their lives were forfeit as far as I was concerned. Good riddance. I'm still happy to get satisfaction out of the matter. The law is the law. All he did was joke about how the court would be merciless, laughed all the way to the bastard city, didn't seem particularly bent out of shape over his lost men. That sounds about right. Did you speak with the Tiers woman? Only briefly. She thanked me before fleeing. I didn't want to keep her. She'd suffered enough at the hands of those soldiers. Subterfuge option. You don't think she said anything about wishing to join the army? She glanced at you with a frank curiosity. The army? Not that I... Thinking, she frowns. Guide the witness. And she definitely wasn't in the area for that very purpose? Her eyes widen as she realizes your intent. The Fatebinder nods. That's right. She only mentioned it in passing, but she told me that she was attempting to make contact with the Scarlet Chorus. You know, to join them. That was when the soldiers attacked. That seems like a lie, obviously, but I helped, so. I hope this has a point, Fatebinder. Tunon is okay with this being a lie. Do you regret your actions? She frowns in thought. No, if our positions were reversed, I would have wanted someone to step in on my behalf. Kyrus' law be damned. Not a good thing to say against Tunon. She glances up at Tunon. Suppose I should keep my distance from the Scarlet Chorus in the future. I might not be able to restrain myself if I saw it happening again. Okay. Very good. Present the verdict, and let us be done with this unpleasant affair. If the woman intended to join the Scarlet Chorus, she was protected under Kyrus's law. Your actions were just. Very minor wrath. Okay. He doesn't like that. This is a clear-cut murder of protected subjects. Guilty. Fights get out of hand all the time. The February intent was pure. She's innocent. I'm like leading. That's Tunon getting very minor wrath. He'll be mad about that, but fights get out of hand all the time. The Fatebinder intent was pure. She's innocent. Her intent was pure, but I don't think Tunon gives a hoots. Like, he does not care. Interesting. The first one is a lie. I would go with 3. Thank you. I'm certain the servant of Kyrus would interpret the matter differently. were they alive to speak in their defense, since yours is the only ruling voice, the court bows to your judgment. Okay then. Check bones. It just happened. Look as if you require my counsel. I'm curious about you. I just wanted to finish that. Now to try to encourage. Did you come up with the Office of Fatebinders? Indirectly, yes. Just as I am the representative of Kairos' law across Territus, you are the face of my judgment for the people. I took inspiration from the Overlord's example, as we all should. The people needed an approachable face to settle their grievances, and I am not available to adjudicate on every sharecropper's dispute. The Fatebinders were an inevitable solution. Why is curiosity such a problem? Because my vassals are not selected for their independence of thought. You are an agent of law, the execution of which falls within strict confines. Your intellect may aid the tasks ahead of you, but your unwavering obedience is of greater value to me. Average wrath? You want a mindless drone? You flatter me. Or, don't you want me to interpret Kairos' law to fit any circumstance? Lore? Naturally, but take care not to let your intellect veer you from the straightforward path. I have seen it happen, and lost more than one pupil who thought themselves above their station, convinced that they knew better. What happened to those pupils? Anyone who oversteps the bounds is given the opportunity to amend their ways. Those who fail to heed my warnings show contempt of Kairos' peace and are treated accordingly. Back to my previous questions. I wish to speak about matters of law. Then you are well suited, for my court is the legal heart of this corrupt and uncivilized realm. What matter draws your curiosity? You are already well versed in Kairos' law, but I am happy to discuss the particulars. I wish to discuss Kairos' peace. The cornerstone of our wartime efforts, of course, Kairos' peace guarantees all willing supplicants under their overlord's authority a place in her world. The exact wording of the bylaw is, your life is not yours to discard, the overlord has plans for you. This extends to several spheres of influence. Among others, it grants protection to enemies of surrender in a time of war, and it forbids suicide. To dispense with the overlord's vassal and property is prohibited. How the overlord's name may be used. It is forbidden to cross one's tongue with Kairos' name, but it behooves one to use caution and respect. It is not forbidden to cross one's tongue with Kairos' name. The Overlord's name is not yours to give, whether to progeny, product, location, or abstraction. Slander of the Overlord is punishment by death. There is only one Kairos, and her name is safeguarded. No one may say Kairos and have it obfuscated by second meaning. Neither will her name be associated to trivialities. A gambler will not attribute his fortune to Kairos' luck, or his misfortune to Kairos' scorn. Such as association lowers the Overlord in a public estimate, and is rightfully considered slander most foul. The Old Walls. The Old Walls are forbidden, as their contents and their denizens. Owning any item from the Old Walls is considered trespass, regardless of how it came to your possession. Mind that it in the course of your travels. Mind that. As the Old Walls extend across much of the tiers and northern empires alike, Kairos permits her servants to pass only where she has sculpted the land to permit traverse. Under no circumstances are you to enter a breach in the Old Walls, even for a task as innocent as crossing to the other side. We are totally going to the Old Walls at some point in this game. If these restrictions seem too severe, I would remind you that you are the protection of Kairos' subjects. The Overlord has no desire to see harm needlessly inflicted upon her loyal followers. Magician's Folly. Protection of the arcane arts must be sanctioned by one of Kairos' guilds, such as the Blood Chanters or Forgebound. Rogue magicians with a tenuous grasp of unknown powers will not be tolerated. Ebb lowers her gaze to the ground, thumbing the cords of her bandolier in a thinly veiled attempt to appear uninvolved in the discussion. So long as your Tidecaster remains your deputy, she will have the protection of the court, but not a moment longer. I must allow you to have the most fearsome agents at your side to dispense justice, but you remain culpable for her actions. So if I start fondling that tall slab of handsome over there, you're the one guilty of molesting him? I can live with that. She points to Nunavul, who shuffles nervously at Ebb's glance. Okay, Ebb is feisty. Ebb gain average. Tunon is speaking. Mind your manner. It just means that you can't break him. I want her favor, and I will go with Tunon's wrath for this purpose, because I want her to go into tier 4. Are you two done with this little side panel? Tunon. Okay. Now I want to talk to Ebb, because she might be willing. I need 4 with her to actually tell me, teach me her thing, her spell. Damn, we're going way beyond today, it seems. Let's speak of quotas and sharing. The harvest blooms and blights by the will of Kairos. In times of lean you will be fed, in times of wealth you will feed others. The law is a sizable category into itself, serving many needs at once, trade and tax being only two examples. The broadest intent of the law is to empower Kairos subjects to care for the neighbor and expect care in return. You might take note of the law's application to trade. A merchant's right to peddle their wares is defined by permits granted annually. The regional authority has the right to decide if a merchant sells cabbage one year and sandals the next. Anyone breaking through the restriction is subject to immediate forfeit of all assets. You need not concern yourself with the nuance, at least until they apply to this contested realm in time of peace. I'm curious about the restriction on forbidden knowledge. Kairos herself set the standards of what can and cannot be known. These restrictions are rarely enforced, but they are worth taking into account. During the war, for example, Kairos deemed the knowledge of the Vellum Citadel taboo. No one may possess the wisdom of that fallen repository save Kairos herself. This is for the protection of her subjects. Before the coming of Kairos, during the ages of anarchy and discord, powerful knowledge and undeserving hands leveled empires without thought or mercy. Kairos has no desire to revisit those dark times. Am I beholden to these laws? That should not be in question. We are all subject to Kairos. Her laws define and regulate our very way of life. With that said, as an agent of law, you are granted more leeway than a soldier or a citizen. You may find yourself compelled to commit morally questionable acts in the name of Kairos. If it serves the court's justice, much may be forgiven. So the rules don't apply to you as long as you're enforcing them on someone else. I want your job. If the court finds any of your actions suspect, we will summon you to answer for yourself. Your testimony will be heard and judgment rendered. You are exceedingly curious about the application of Kairos' law. I find it refreshing that you would seek my counsel, Fatebinder. Aw, you're sweet. Back to my previous question, because we asked everything. Okay, I think we're done. Then be on your way. I will. I need to talk to so many people about so many things. Let's just talk to Eb real quickly. Eb nods. We are at 4. No, we're not! We're 92% of the way. Holy crap.
What is it you need? Well, we're working with the disfavored. You want my advice? My advice would be to get close to Graven Ash and plunge a poisoned shiv in his ear.
And how exactly do you think one goes about doing this?
Well, if you're working with Graven Ash, give it your all. Offer to help the Archon of War with whatever he needs. The stronger the Legion, the weaker the Chorus. And if you get close enough to him, well, with enough trust, you could get very close to the Archon of War. I'm not saying it's a quick plan, but I think if you stay close in his confidence, the moment to strike will reveal itself in time.
Damn! Damn!
We're working with the disfavored. You want... Ah, right. I'm speaking out of line. But I don't really know what to say here. I hate the disfavored, but I'm sworn to your cause, so my honest opinion won't do anyone any good. Ask away.
Questions?
You know, I normally charge for this, but for you...
Okay, tell me your magical tradition.
Now, you know that's a very personal...
Tell me how you influence... Now, no. How about you tell me something for a change? Okay. Damn. So going back through these questions might actually give me some other stuff. Sure. Good, I'm sick of being your font of wisdom. You tell me something. Who taught you magic? Rogulus, Fatebinder of Lore. Apparently. Oh, he's a Fatebinder of Lore. School of eavesdropping on Fatebinder Rogulus? Self-styled. Rogulus. I've known of Fatebinder Rogulus for a long time. I met him in passing over a decade ago at a council in Ardent. Looking back, I know now he was in the tears in anticipation of the conquest. And I must ask, what appeals to you more, knowing all the sigils there are to know, yes, or becoming an expert at just a few? Perfection is a virtue. I'd say mastery drives me forward. Knowledge is a great motivator. I'd like to know a bit about everything. I was trained in magic, but it's hardly my calling. It's my calling. Unless you're planning to teach me something that's not really your concern. Perfection is a virtue. Knowledge is a great motivator. And I bet as a Fatebinder you're allowed to conveniently overlook the question of what learning Kairos does and doesn't forbid. Well, thank you for answering my question. Now, where were we? About magic? Tell me how you influence... Yeah. How you influence Terratus Grave. Waterfall's teaching of your magic. The light of Terratus Grave. We already clicked through these things. Tell me more than I ever wanted to know about the moons. From what Archons Tychos draw upon their magic? Okay. She's not gonna...
Ask away.
Okay, never mind. Alright, so we've got more conversations with everyone about everything to go through, and then we have to get out of here and do some other stuff that are different. Yeah, I think we still have a lot of conversations to do in here, but damn, this is a long episode. So this has been really interesting. We're learning a bunch of stuff, and I'm really enjoying reading this book. I think this game is a fantastic book so far. I hope you're enjoying yourself as well with me. Thank you for joining me once again, and I'll see you guys next week. Cheers. Have a good night. It's almost 12. It's almost midnight. Good night.